In just a moment, I'm going to be introducing author Sarah Wray, and she is going to be talking with us all the way from England. And I hope I get a good Skype connection. Please, Skype work for me. Her newest book, it came out in November, and it's called Her Best Friend. Oh my goodness, this book was so good. What is it about these British women who can write thrillers? Okay. They just the tension in this book. I cannot wait to talk to her about it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm going to ask her all kinds of questions about how she writes like that. I just don't get it. But if you read Girl on the Train and you love that, you will love this book. You have to go get it, okay? It, like I said, came out in November. It's getting lots of good buzz right now, and I see it everywhere. So anyway, guys, here is Sarah. Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be speaking with author Sarah Wray. And this is her second novel. It came out in November, and it's called Her Best Friend. And we're going to be talking about this book. And oh my gosh, Sarah, thank you so much for talking with me today.
Thank you for having me.
I am going to say something that always makes people mad at me, but I'm going to say it anyway, because for some reason, when I read these books, I can tell, without looking anything up about you, that you are from England, because there is something about the way that you guys write over there that just, I know, and I'm not saying anything. I love my American authors, and, I'm just saying, I don't know what it is, but the way that I get drawn into your books, and everyone, if you read Girl on the Train, that is
Yes.
And I know other people have said that, but I mean the suspense, okay? And I found myself I was all worked up, and I'd be like, okay, why are you so worked up? Because it's not, I don't know, you would introduce a character, and then right away, I like Michelle. Okay, so this is about, let's just start over. This is about Sylvia Armstrong, and she's the main character, and her best friend, in the very beginning of the book, because we don't do any spoilers. In the very beginning of the book, her best friend gets pulled out of a lake. She's 15 and she dies, and they find her. And so the whole book is basically about Sylvia, 20 years later, comes back to that town after leaving for 20 years. And there's a guy out there that wants to write a story. He's going to solve the murder, okay? And every time a character was introduced, Sarah, I was like, and I'm like, how did she get me to that? And all she did was say a name. All she did was say the name Peter. I mean, so I want to know how you did that. How do you do that?
Do you mean come up with the characters?
No, how you just, I don't know, how you build suspense to the point, is that something that is, taking you a long time, to be able to do? I'm telling you, because I read a lot of books, and there's just something about, the suspense. It, starts off in the beginning, but you know you're in for it, okay? And then it just builds and builds. And I was saying, every character's name, when you introduce the character Michelle, right away, I'm like, oh my God, I wonder what she did.
I mean, I didn't have any scientific approach to it. I wish I could have that, but I guess I just try to follow my gut feeling. And when I read it back, I try to approach it as a reader might and think, have I given too much away? When I'm writing each chapter, I try to think, what am I trying to achieve with this chapter? What are the questions I want to answer? What are the questions I want to raise? And that's kind of just a way for me to manage it myself, really. Otherwise, it can get a bit messy.
Yeah, and like I said, I think to me, it's just pure talent, okay? To be able, because I'm sure you don't know exactly how you do it, it's just that's how talented you are, that it's we're already built up, it's like this slow build. Like I said, it's you don't even realize, as you're writing it. And like you said, you don't want to give away, you don't want, you're like, okay, did I give away? I got to take away.
Yeah.
But you're still left with enough there that no matter what the character says, you're like, okay, that meant something. I all right, this meant
I think
especially.
that's the fun thing about the genre. You know,
Ah,
you've got to drop the breadcrumbs, but you also have to try to hide them, and I find that quite fun when I'm reading them and when I'm writing them. So
yeah, that's is the fun. You're absolutely
yeah,
right. Like, excuse me, that is like the fun of reading this book, everyone, because like I said, when you introduced Michelle, okay, she's like this quirky friend that was a part and you know what? I think we've all been there. I thought she was a brilliant character. Not only did she have an amazing name, but I think we've all been there as high school students where you have this girl and because like I had a best friend, okay, and then you have these people that like want to be in on your best friend, and then you just kind
yeah,
of let them a little bit. You don't really let them in, but you kind of let them like hang out, especially if they have something to offer. Like she kind of, you know, she could get them liquor sometimes, and
yeah.
she could, you know, like, and it's sad because you know I felt really bad for her, and I was like, you've been on. I think everyone's been Michelle, but then they've been Sylvia too. Like you've been on
Yeah,
either end of that, don't you think?
definitely. And I was quite kind of interested in, you know, when you look back and sometimes things that you did then, you know, you might feel guilty about them even now, even if you didn't mean anything by it at the time. But sometimes you wonder how your unthinking actions at the time might have affected somebody else, and also how something somebody else said or did a long time ago can make an impression on your life as well. Um, I think that's kind of interesting to think about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the way that you made Sylvia realize, like, as her memory of Michelle was kind of, you know, unveiling, I should say, as you know, the more Michelle hung out and she had more memories, like, oh yeah, we did this. Oh yeah, we did. You know, I think that's kind of what happens, you know, because as Michelle's telling stories, she's like, I don't remember, and then she's like, oh yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
Kind of like what's good
definitely.
about high school reunions. So, kind of
Yeah,
bad and good about high school reunions, but
yeah.
you know,
There's maybe some things you wish that people would forget about. So
yeah, and you kind of don't remember, and then they bring it up, and you're like, "Ooh, yeah, did I say that? I don't remember saying that." But I just okay for so the her best friend's name is Victoria, and then she gets pregnant and has a baby and names her Victoria, which was brilliant. Okay, that was absolutely brilliant because every time she has to say the baby's name, there's this like I I don't know. How did you think of that? How did you think of that?
I think I just guessed maybe it would be an interesting way to introduce early that there was some kind of you know, tension about Victoria, and also throughout the book I'm kind of looking at the idea of how you sort of pass things on. So Sylvie's interested in what, you know, how she might become like a mum or not like a mum, and she wants to remember her best friend Victoria and maybe see the good points and remember her through the baby. And I was just kind of interested in how things get passed on that way and what we take from other people and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's another whole dynamic of this, and is the mother relationship with her. And of course, you
Yeah.
find out in the end, you know how that all works out. But I mean, throughout the book, when you when you and nobody skipped to the end because you have to read the whole book. But I mean, it's kind of I don't know. I had a rough relationship with my mom. She passed away a couple of years ago, but it's interesting how years later I'm now 53 and I only remember the good for the most part, you know. But
Hmm.
it's those mother-daughter, and I have daughters now, so it's always like I'm like, oh, okay, don't say that like my mom did. Say other things. Try to say other things, you know.
Yeah.
I
I
think
mean,
it's
I have a good relationship with my mum, but I'm interested in that relationship. It's kind of an unbreakable bond, whatever happens, really. And I don't have children myself, but it's something that I'm, you know, sort of interested in how it changes your life and what you get from it, what scares you about it, that kind of thing. So I definitely wanted to explore
yes,
the topic of
yes. And the
motherhood.
fact, right, and there she has this baby girl, okay? And I know that because of my relationship with my mom, the good and the bad, I was afraid. I had two sons and then I had my daughter, and I was afraid. Like when they told me it was a
Yeah.
girl, I was like, okay, okay. I can do this. Because there's just something about that. Like you said, it's an unbreakable bond, and good or bad, it doesn't matter. Like, it's still your mom, and you're only going to have one mom, and you're only going to go through that relationship with your mom. So I did love how, she came back after she died, to kind of clean up,
Yeah.
But she didn't have to. And that was another interesting thing that I kept thinking about while I was reading it. It was like, she came back and she didn't have to, but it was almost like she was trying to make that circle, like, I'm going to do this,
And even though they kind of fell out, she still can't kind of hate her, I suppose. So I was interested in that. And then she's kind of maybe worried about the bad side of the relationship that she might pass on to her daughter and how to manage that.
Yeah, no, I love that part of the story. There's just so many elements in this story. That's why it was like, it had me thinking, about your best friends and then about your mom and just about, life that went on. I mean, this tragedy happens, and it's kind of like, how does the town move on and the parents when she, hooks back up with her parents and, the whole thing, it's just like, it was really good, Sarah.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you enjoyed it.
I really did. And like I said, I'm pretty sure I found you on Instagram. These book bloggers, it's like they find a book and then it just keeps cycling through. And I'm just so happy because when you first come out with the book and you get that initial buzz, right? And then you get it again as paperback and then as Kindle and other things. But more than anything, it's that one person brings it back up and then another person, and we're going to get it out there again because I want everybody to read this book. And
that's brilliant about book bloggers. I mean, I didn't know very much about it, and I've often found a lot of books myself that way, actually. But when my book was published, I appreciated even more, just how people can get on board with your book and make it go. So
yeah. Exactly. And it's not just about the blog because they're on social media promoting it and showing the cover. And oh my gosh, what a great, I'm holding it. Nobody can see it. I'm holding it right now, but I love this cover. I mean, the colors, the way the best is in red.
Yeah, I like it. I kind of like the sort of surrounding blue, and it's like, is it an eye or is it Sam's camera lens? Or I did like that aspect of it. So.
Yes, and as we're talking, everybody is looking at the cover, so because the cover's up there on the screen, so they're seeing this, and I'm not going to give away. You got to read the book to find out why that locket is important, because I'm not going to give it away. But I saw that you had 2 books out last year. And how did that happen? Your first one was Reported Missing, and that got all kinds of great reviews also. Did you find a publisher for both of them at the same time?
So I had written a bit of Reported Missing, and I entered there's a Northern Writers competition in the north of England. I entered that competition, and I won a prize in that, which enabled me to find an agent, and then she pitched Reported Missing to Kashini at Bookouture, and she liked it, so she took that one and then took the second one on the strength of the idea. So yeah.
So last year was a great year for you then.
Yeah, it was a busy year.
Are you contracted with the same publisher to write more?
Not at the moment, but I am writing a third one, so I plan to just keep going.
Oh, you need, I didn't read Reported Missing, but I saw those reviews after I got done reading this book, and then I read all the reviews. I mean, you have to keep writing, okay?
Definitely, I won't stop.
Good. You can't give up on us, okay? Because we're just like...
Definitely not.
I can't wait. I mean, you have to let me know when your next one gets picked up, because I will read it early, and I will get it out there. You are a very, very talented writer, and, I read a lot of thrillers, and I was telling one of my friends about this book this morning because I was talking about it, and I was like, I read so many authors, and I love a good thriller. I'm like, but this one, I can't wait to tell her how good it is.
Oh, thank you. There are a lot. There are so many good thrillers out there. It's it's a very good market there at the minute. It's my favorite thing to read too, and just feels like they're getting better and better. So.
They really do, and this definitely falls under the domestic thriller genre that Amazon has out there right now. And, this is definitely. I mean, I felt like it was a new thing, But then I see I'm like, oh, maybe it's not as new as I think, but it just kind of seems new to me because I've been reading so many of them that they actually have a genre under that, like
Yeah.
even more than just say thriller, right? Now they've got
Yeah,
all these like
definitely.
and this definitely falls for people out there who like to read that, like this definitely falls under that category. And you guys are amazing. Okay.
I, I like writing about ordinary surroundings, and I'm not into sort of high octane, glamorous surroundings. I mean, I like the idea of them, but for my books, I'm very drawn to kind of the everyday. And
Yeah, did you know one of the questions I always like to ask, and I almost forgot to ask this of you, is like, did you know how it was going to end? Because I'm telling you, I always like pride myself on figuring these things out, and I was 3/4 of the way done and still did not know. Okay.
well, I actually have to know the end, or pretty much know the end. So for my first book, I kind of started with the end, and that was the genesis of the idea. So I worked back from there, and then this one, it took me a little while to get to the end, but I was very on edge until I did know the end. And to be honest, a lot of people have said that they're surprised by the end, but I never kind of set out to write a really big twist, because I think, that's so well done by so many people, and I didn't really feel up to sort of throwing my hat into the big twist ring. But then I guess it kind of came out like that naturally. So yeah. But once I knew what was going to happen, I could kind of go back through the story and sort of enhance other parts of it, I guess, because the themes start to really come together once you know the full arc of it.
Yeah, and I do not like twists that are like unnatural. I don't know how to say it. It's like I'm not looking for somebody to be like blow me away and be like, where did that come from? I didn't even see. That is not how this is. Like when it was, it's a compliment when it works out, and I'm like, oh. And then I went back, and this is what I suggest everybody who reads these books do, is go back and read that first chapter. Because I know how hard you work on that first chapter in order to start the story off. And then it gives even more meaning. And you're like, oh my gosh, when I did that, I was like, she is brilliant. Okay.
It has to add up. That's the thing. I agree. When I read things and it feels like it's completely left field, I get a little bit annoyed. But if I'm like, oh, of course, then, or it really stacks up, then I really like that. So, but as I say, I don't see myself as like someone who's, going to keep on twisting, but yeah.
Yeah, you don't want too many twists in terms of people get lost.
Yeah.
Like they get lost in the story. But what I loved is that it did make sense, and yet I didn't, I was like, it makes so much sense, but I wasn't even thinking that way, but it does make sense. So
yeah, I kind of thought that this one was a bit more fun in that respect than, it was a different approach to the first one, so I want to try to keep doing something a little bit different, or a new challenge, or a new angle each time. I guess sometimes it'll come off and sometimes it won't, but it keeps it fun, I think.
I would think, I've never been a thriller writer, but I would think for you, the thing is to when you come up with a story like this, like, do you get so excited when the idea, like, initially just starts forming in your head, like, oh, this is a story.
And I know it's taking off when I'm constantly writing little notes on my phone. Like, at first, when I'm sort of thrashing around, I'm like, oh, this is not going to, pan out. It's a short story, it's not a book. But then when I start writing lots of little notes on my phone, then I know that it's taken off.
Right, exactly. That's what I would think. Like, it's not a normal kind of story, but it's like when you come up with it in your head, and then all of a sudden it just sticks, and you're like, you can't get it out of your head, and you're like, this might be it,
I always start with the person, like usually the main character, usually a woman on the verge of a nervous breakdown, and the starting point is always kind of, what is it like to be in their situation, and
well, I have a hard time believing that you don't have children, because you did her so well as a new mom that I was for sure would have thought that you've had a baby and know exactly what it feels like to
Well, thank you. I was very I really wanted that to be the case, and I did run it by a good friend of mine who has a new baby, and she gave me the thumbs up. So
That's right. She's like, yes, that's what's like when you're not sleeping. Okay, this is what it feels like. Well, thank you so much, Sarah. I can't wait for your next book. Please let me know when that is going to be coming out, because I would love to be an early reader, and this, I will have all of the links under here. So the Amazon and everywhere that Sarah is, so you can just click on it and go right to her book. And I am so happy that I found you. So, so happy. It was
Thank
such
you
a
for having me
pleasure.
on. It's so nice to hear from someone out of the blue and on the other side of the world.
On the
It's
other side.
a good thing about books.
That is, it's the greatest thing, and you're so clear, and it's like you're right here, and you're not. So, but you have the cutest accent. Everybody's gonna love your accent.
One day I'd like to write a book set in America, so you never know. I might be over your way one day.
Oh, that would be fun. That would definitely. You have a lot of fans over here, so you should think about.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Sarah. You have it's nighttime more for you, but you have a great evening, and thank you for making the effort to talk with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, we'll talk soon. Bye-bye. Thank you guys. If you made it this far, you listened to our whole interview. She couldn't get her camera to work, but we were still able to talk, and I was so, so happy about that. I just wanted to tell her how much I love this book. I cannot wait to see what she has next. She is a very talented writer, and like I said, if you've read Girl on the Train, the tension is the same. And if you love that, which I do, I love when the tension is like that, you will love this book. I said it on the video, but Sarah's links are all going to be listed under here. Also will be my Facebook page, my Instagram. I post all the time on Instagram. Go over there. I'd love you to join that. It's a great community over there. Anyway, thank you, Sarah. Thank you for making that happen. I feel like I have another book to read today, and I'm like, I just want to let that one settle in. Did you ever get like that? Did you ever get like you don't want to start another book because you just want to sit in that book? I just want to sit in that book for a little bit. So maybe I'll take a little break today, go for a walk. It's all sunny out, as you can see. But anyway, thank you guys. Thank you for watching. We will talk to you soon.